Research shows that careers that require brilliant minds attract a much lower number of females. Why? It is a complicated question. Stereotypes, unintentional bias, lack of encouragement to name a few. Girls are brilliant. In fact, here are some brilliant role models.
Dian Fossey was born in San Francisco, California in 1932. Dian enrolled in school as a pre-veterinary student at the University of California. She focused on her degree in occupational therapy at San Jose State College, from which she graduated in 1954. Following graduation, Dian interned at various hospitals in California. After less than a year, she moved to Louisville, Kentucky, where she was hired as a director of the occupational therapy department at Corsair Children's Hospital. She spent many years longing to visit Africa and eventually took matters into her own hands. In September 1963, she arrived in Kenya. The final two sites on her tour were Old Duvet Gorge in Tanzania, the archaeological site of Louis and Mary Leakey. Visiting with Dr. Louis Leakey at Old Duvet Gorge was an experience that Dian would later point to as pivotal in her life. As Dian Fossey continued to work in Kentucky at Corsair Children's Hospital, she also found time to publish a number of articles and photographs from her Africa trip. In December 1966, Dian returned to Africa, where she began her interest in gorilla studies. Initially, the gorillas would flee into the vegetation as soon as Dian approached. Observing them openly and from a distance, over time she gained their acceptance. She put the gorillas at ease by imitating regular activities like scratching and feeding, and copying their contentment vocalizations. Through her observations, she began to identify the individuals that made up each group. Like George Schaller before her, Dian relied heavily on the gorilla's individual nose prints for purposes of identification. She sketched the gorillas and their nose prints from a distance and slowly came to recognize individuals within the three distinct groups in her study area. She learned much from their behavior and kept detailed records of their daily encounters. Dian Fossey helped close the gap between us and the animal world. Her work continues to inspire and help others understand the science and beauty of Mother Nature's creatures.